Certainly not pro-life.
No.
Certainly not fiscal issues. I have no idea what they can come together on at this point in time.
But you're hopeful.
I am hopeful.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Is it possible for Democrats and Republicans to still find common ground? Today we're in Laguna Beach, California to find out. Let's go talk to some people. Do you think in 2022, can Democrats and Republicans still find common ground?
I don't think so anymore.
What do you think?
No, I think it's very unlikely.
I'd love to think so, but I don't think so.
Oh, you're asking me. I hope so.
You hope
I
so?
hope so.
Yes, but not with the current people that are in office.
Man, that's a great question. I think we can all find common ground in the fact that we're Americans.
Why do you guys think it's unlikely?
Everybody's loving hating each other so much.
What do you think?
Well, I think people have demonized the other side and are making a lot of assumptions about the mindset of the other side and not willing to give them a break and sit back for a while and listen. That seems to be the problem.
I think the parties are far too divided by ideology, by loyalties to things that most people probably don't pick up on. And what I talk about is deep state, what goes on behind the scenes in terms of corruption and loyalties. I've seen a lot of it in politics myself. I've seen a lot of it in the legal system.
I think on certain topics they can, but I think the divisiveness at this point in time is just too much, and it's going to take somebody very special to come into office to bring people together, and I think that's far away.
We've seen countries become more socialized, and we've seen economies collapse and problems with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm concerned for that for here too. I wonder back in the 60s when we did some entitlement type stuff, did that hurt people instead of help people? Right? If you give people too much, they're not going to get out there and work hard for.
What do you think they could agree on or come to some common ground on?
Certainly not gun control.
No.
Certainly not pro-life.
No.
Certainly not fiscal issues. I have no idea what they can come together on at this point in time.
But you're hopeful.
I am hopeful.
I think it's a difference on cultural issues as much as anything else. It's issues like abortion, like gender issues, things like that are what create the really hard positions on both sides.
Unfortunately, what I see coming from the far left and far right is not America first. It's my agenda first.
All right, everyone, let's take a quick moment to talk about today's sponsor. You remember this old saying, you don't miss the water till the well runs dry? Well, bad news, soon you won't be able to get as much food as you need from the grocery store. Why not? American farmers say that they can't grow enough food this summer because of an off-the-charts fertilizer shortage. That means grocery stores will soon be short of food, and that means you need to get some backup emergency food right away. Now, how do we get that? Well, great question. Go to preparewithklug.com and you'll save $150 on emergency food that's affordable and delicious. It's the 3-month emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest preparedness company. This My Patriot Supply kit has it all. We're talking breakfast, lunch, dinners, snacks, drinks for 3 months per person, providing over 2,000 calories a day for sustainable energy. Don't wait for the coming food shortages to show up. Secure your family's food needs now. Go to preparewithklug.com and you'll save $150 on each 3-month food kit you need. That's preparewithklug.com. Let's get back into the video. I mean, your initial response was no, they can't find common ground. Do you just think that the parties want completely different things? What do you think? When it comes to culture and policy?
Yeah, it's a great question. The problem that I see is really one of corruption. I mean, I hate to say this, but 30 years as a lawyer, 30 years like leading certain elements of the Bar Association, 30 years of being involved peripherally in politics, going to many meetings in Sacramento, meetings at the White House, working on legislation, etc. I've seen so much corruption, it made me very cynical and jaded. And I didn't really mostly see at all people wanting to do what they thought was right for America, right for people. I think most agendas usually have a nice label attached to them, but there's always some subversive goal that people have behind the scenes.
I think the conservative agenda is much more in line with what our founding fathers had in mind when they created this great republic. Man, we're a 250-year-old science experiment.
Yeah. It was pretty
For
successful.
real. It's been very, very successful.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, there are those that have found a life in political office and have lived their entire careers in a political office and are not representative of the people.
I just want to see what we think is right for the country to keep us strong, independent, leading the world in all aspects. Leading the world in all aspects.
On immigration, guns, you think that they can still find common ground?
Oh yeah, just lock them up in a room until they make a decision. Yeah.
In 2022, can Democrats and Republicans still find common ground? What do you think?
I would hope so, because if not, then it's pretty sad in America, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes, they can.
Well, I hope they can find common ground on anything. Healthcare, homeless, unemployment, inflation.
Safety, police issues.
They're so divided. I mean, I can't even think of one. Seriously, all the ones I would have said before have like gone right or left. Perhaps they can agree that they got to get inflation under control by raising interest rates.
Honestly, I don't feel like they can.
Why do you think so?
Because the conversation has shifted. It shifted in 2016. It shifted to a different type of belief system on the right, and the left tried to capitalize on it.
What shifted on the right, in your opinion?
If you look at what the Republicans, in my opinion, were traditionally, what their belief system used to be, there's nothing even close to that anymore.
So you'd say policy-wise, they want something that they never wanted before?
Well, I think everybody's chicken right now.
What do you think has really caused the divide?
Media is not very balanced at all right now. I mean, it's definitely, there are a few things that you can go on that give you the full spectrum of beliefs, but I'd say general mainstream media is pretty much only presenting one side.
Okay. When it comes to any political divide in the country, which I'm sure you guys think there's at least some, do you think that would be largely because of the political elite, or would you say more of media?
Definitely it is.
What do you think?
The divide,
Definitely the political elite. Definitely.
Any political divide that there is, do you think that's emphasized by the media and politicians? Do you think people are as divided as it seems, or what do you think?
I think that politicians and the media are increasing the divide.
I used to be a Republican, for crying out loud. They are nowhere near what I used to believe in 25 years ago, 30 years ago.
I guess the question I have is it for the right, is it the rhetoric or is it policy that people have a problem with, that you have a problem with?
Well, I don't have a problem with
what policy do you think they've shifted on?
Policy that they've shifted on is I mean, my God, look what just happened in the Supreme Court. There has been if you want to call it a policy in place for women's rights that basically unprovoked, no one in the Senate provoked that, no one in Congress provoked that, and they just did that on their own. And that was
a Supreme Court decision.
That was a Supreme Court decision.
Let's say if we were to pick like a topic, like let's say an intense one, let's say abortion.
Yeah.
Would you meet Republican or Democrat halfway on abortion?
That's a tough one. I'm pretty strong pro-choice, so yeah.
Abortion might be a little bit different. Yeah. That might be a hard one because
but they should.
Can they find common ground there?
Well, the government, federal government or state government, because I think the abortion control was given back to the states to do what they want, not have the federal government be the one in charge of what happens in each state.
Yeah.
Each state should have their own control of things that go on in their state.
You know, we've talked to Democrats or pro-abortion people, and they are not okay with that. They don't want it to be up to the states. Were you under the impression that that would be a common ground right there?
I would think that there could be a common ground.
Is teaching about the multiple genders, transgenderism to children that are growing up, you know, maybe first through third grade or so. Would you meet the right or the left halfway on that?
No, I feel like it almost has no place in school, and that people should that's a personal thing, and they should do it whatever they believe at home, and it's not really why you send your kids to school.
Things are starting to get bad enough where, you know, I have cousins that are Democrats, and they would never admit out openly that they're starting to think, wait a minute, some of these policies are just not working. Okay, we gave it a good old try. We wanted to be that progressive, oh yeah. But I'm getting jacked outside my house, in Beverly Hills. They're telling me, don't wear your nice watch when you go out. See, so I think for you to meet in the middle, you have to be willing to consider the other point of view.
Right.
And as people start to go, wait a minute, this thing isn't working, they naturally will start to think, okay, if this isn't working, leave this and start to move in that other direction. So as far as what you're asking about, can we find common ground? I absolutely think we can find
Certainly
common
on
ground.
crime is what you're saying. Certainly there.
Hey, that's one of the bigger ones because that affects everybody.
If we do the things that we're supposed to do, and do the things that our forefathers did, which they kept God in this country, and if we do the things that we're supposed to do with God in mind every day, we're going to come out all right. But when we've got we in mind every day, it ain't going to happen so good.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So it seems as though a lot of people are hopeful that the left and the right can find common ground, but the big question is, are they willing to compromise on their beliefs? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, make sure to subscribe for more videos, and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next time we post. We'll see you next time.